What you are looking at right now is one of the most bizarre disasters to ever happen in the United States. On January 15th, 1919, a large storage tank was sitting at the Purity Distilling Company's facility in Boston, Massachusetts. This is a picture of that exact storage tank, and at the time of the event, it was filled with approximately 2.3 million gallons of molasses. This is what the area looks like today, but back in 1919, ships would come in full of molasses down the river and into the harbor, and then they would offload into these storage tanks. The molasses would then be transported by pipeline to the Purity ethanol plant that was nearby in Cambridge. Molasses was important because during the time it was a far more affordable sweetener compared to white sugar, and also because it was a key component in making industrial alcohol for munitions during World War I. So the previous day, there had been a fresh delivery of molasses that had made its way into the harbor and put into the storage tank. It had been a string of colder days in the Boston area, so before the actual molasses was able to be put inside of the storage tank, they had to warm it all up to decrease the viscosity of it. The following day, on January 15th, temperatures in Boston rose to over 40 degrees in Fahrenheit, which is a lot warmer than it had been in the last few days. And due to thermal expansion of that older and colder molasses that was in there previously, the 2.3 million gallon tank burst open and collapsed. Witnesses in the area said that they could feel the ground start to shake around them and heard a roaring sound. There was an elevated train track that was by the area, and so some of the people that were there thought that maybe a train was just going by. Others that were closer to the epicenter of all this reported hearing machine gun fire. It was discovered later that the machine gun fire that people reported were actually the rivets of this tank that were being shot out of it. The resulting collapse of the molasses tank caused a wave of about 25 to 30 feet high to rush through the harbor area at approximately 35 miles an hour. Several blocks were flooded at a depth of about 2 to 3 feet, and due to the cold temperatures, once the molasses started to kind of settle down, it started to harden up again and become more viscous. And that made rescue efforts very, very difficult. At the end of all this, roughly 150 people were injured and 21 people were killed. There were also several animals, including horses and dogs, that were in the area when the explosion happened, and they unfortunately passed away as well. The aftermath of all this saw one of the first class action lawsuits brought against the company that owned this plant. And after roughly 3 years of judgment, the company was found responsible and had to pay out $628,000 worth of damages, approximately $11.4 million in today's money. And the relatives of those that were killed received approximately $7,000 per victim, which comes out to roughly $127,000 in today's money. The area today is now a park that has Little League baseball fields, playgrounds, and bocce court areas. It's also been memorialized with this plaque that kind of briefly explains everything that happened on that fateful day.